Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at the Deimos class, which we've seen in Star Trek Picard is used as the synth ships during the Mars attack. So I'll be taking a look at the Vanity shields available from the Dilithium store during certain events of the year, and as well as the only shield currently available in the Zen store. As always, chapters are in the description down below, and I'll cover off the links that are in there as well at the end of the video. Now, whilst recording this video, I've been putting it off for a little while, if I'm honest. Reasons are twofold. One, I've been extremely frustrated with STO of late. You know, the events on PC not starting correctly, issues with the store, and a bit of radio silence in general from Deck has started to annoy me quite a bit. And also this ship, whilst I thoroughly enjoy flying the ship in the game, as I was doing the video, the visuals with the Vanity shields started to, I wouldn't say annoy me, but maybe irritate me is probably the better word to use. Now that could be because either the art team decided that's the best look for the ship, so we're not getting deflector colours on the deflector areas, or the no Bizarre collector effects, the cell colourings and so forth all seem to be a bit off location wise. But it could also be the fact that maybe when they were designing the ship that they weren't sure where the normal components of Starship may have been. So for example, the Bizarre collectors perhaps could have been on the top of the ship at the front, like it is with the Garrett, for example. The deflector probably should have been roughly where it looks to be on this one at the moment. The cell colourings definitely at the rear and on the top should have been there. So just to forewarn you that I might not sound as upbeat as I normally do throughout the video. But all that being said, and if I've not put you off watching it yet, but hey, we'll get cracked on with the video. So first up, we have the Alliance Vanity Shield, which is part of the Kittimer Alliance bundle in the Zen store, and it's currently the only shield available in the Zen store. Comes with the Kittimer Alliance uniform and an upgrade. So we've got the white hull material with the gold shading there along with the grey. Let me zoom in a bit closer in this video so we get a right close look up of the ship, and it's probably something I should have been doing for a while, if I'm honest, but I completely utterly forgot about setting the field of view. So here is the deflector colouring, same here as well. Let's get that red piping there as part of the shield. We still see the white Starfleet Delta there. As they come along, again, this could either be the Bizarre, sorry, not the Bizarre, the deflector colouring or the warp nacelles. Here's the warp nacelle colouring coming down here as well. If I hold it there, we can see the triangle effect with the different hues, especially in that gold section. Seems I rotate around here. You see it here quite nicely. So that is a very nice detail of the shield that the art team did for this one. For the impulse engine there, we have the red, orange, yellow, white and black again. No Bizarre collector effect on this ship either. I'll zoom back out so we can get a full view of the ship. Again, we're just more of the white pattern hull material, the grey and the gold shading there, more of that red piping, and a touch more of that cyan lighting there. Moving on to the Dilithium store, so this is a Safe Galaxy Refit Vanity Shield. So with the patterned grey hull material with some different shades of grey there. Again, we'll zoom right in. So got the gold there of the deflector. See the different shades of grey there on the hull material. Again, that white delta still showing there. And back here we've got the slightly lighter yellow. Same there for the cell colouring here. And more of the bizarre colouring there on the inside, and the gold impulse engines. Zoomed out too far there, whoopsie. And we'll have a look at the underside, which again is more of this the patterned grey shading for the hull material, and that light yellow shading there at the end of these wings, I suppose is the best way to describe them. Another popular shield in the game is the Bow Vanity shield. This black hull material. We'll zoom right in here. You see quite a bit of dull cyan lighting there. Now we've got this white lighting, which does appear on the shield on certain ships. Normally the deflector coloring's the same dull cyan lighting as we see here. The cyan lighting there, and this lovely red on what to me looks to be weapon ports. And the cyan lighting there, which is the bizarre collector effect for this particular shield, as well as the same for the warp engines. And with that lovely red impulse engine there, and more of that white lighting as well. And we can see this etched pattern within the hull material here. And the same there on the underside. Next up, it's the Borg Vanity shield. So this one gives your vessel the look of a liberated Borg vessel. You've got the grey patterned hull material, and the pattern's made up with various shapes and sizes of hull plates. You can see the black conduit material there. Now it's got this blue lighting and touches of the orange and gold lighting there at the rear. Now with the blue deflector effect there. More of that conduit material effect on the inner parts there. The blue there on the weapon ports. More of the conduit material effect there. And we've got the blue, which on this shield is also the bizarre collector and the nacelle colouring. And far enough, the impulse colouring as well. You can see the nacelle colouring coming down here. The blue impulse engine there, and then more of that blue illumination at the sides there as well. You see the extent of that conduit material effect. Let's look down from the top. And the same here for the underside. Here we have the Courier Raider Vanity Shield, so one of the older shields in the game, not to be confused with the new Breen Courier Raider Shield. This one you might want to put your sunglasses on or turn your brightness down a bit, because this is going to get bright. So we've got this bare metal colouring for the hull material, and with the white illumination there, so that's the deflector colouring, as well as the nacelle colouring and the bizarre collector colouring and the impulse engine colouring on this shield. White seems to be the theme here. Then with some black shading here as well. And with the white there on the gun ports. You can still make out the delta on the wings there. Same with the white illumination there. Same there for the impulse engines. As you can see, when the light hits this material, it is very, very bright. And with the white there of the nacelle covering. I say it does look like bare metal, kind of pattern and effect to the hull material on the underside there. Next up is the Discovery Vanity Shield. Now, this one has two different visual appearances depending on your faction alignment. So for Federation aligned, we get the look of Starfleet vessels in Season 1 of Discovery. So we have this various shades of grey patterned hull material here. Let me zoom in a bit. See this honeycomb white effect here. So that isn't actually the deflector array effect on this shield, but it's being used in place of it. The one for the shield is white and it's got a blue spoke effect going right around the normal circle of a deflector array. And with the red there on the weapons ports. You can see the pattern on the hull material and the different shades there as we rotate round. Then we've got the blue there, which is the cell colouring. Then we've got the red honeycomb there for the impulse engines. You can see the full pattern effect there as we look down. And then the same here on the underside with the patterned hull material of the various shades. So here we have the Discovery Vanity Shield on a Klingon aligned character with this two-tone sandy brown hull material with quite an extensive pattern effect to it. See some of this red and white lighting here as well. Then we have the white and yellow patterned impulse engines. And then we have the orange, yellow and white nacelle colouring there. Some more touches of that white and red lighting also. Yeah, still seeing that Starfleet Delta detail there, quite nice. Somebody was asked me if any of these shields covered it. So hopefully this video will answer the question for them. And with some green illumination there on the underside, and then just that patterned hull material as well. Here we have the Discovery Refit Vanity Shield. So slightly darker grey compared to the Discovery Vanity Shield. Again, different shades of it there with a pattern effect in the material. Now this white honeycomb pattern there. Again, it's not the deflector pattern for the shield, but it's been used in place of it. The red there on the weapon sports. And this white and blue, which is the Bizarre Collector effect for the shield, if memory serves. The red there for the impulse engines, and again more of that white honeycomb lighting there. And we have the blue and white effect there for the nacelles. You see the pattern effect with the different shades of grey there in the hull material. And the same here on the underside. Here we have the Emerald Chain Vanity Shield. Various shades of brown pattern effect here on the hull material. Zoom in a bit more, you can see the texture there. Dirty white honeycomb pattern effect there. See, it's very dull here as well. Got the dull white there on the weapons ports. Same grey white there. Same there for the impulse engines and the nacelle colouring there as well. You can see the pattern effect there on the larger areas of the hull. And we are the same here on the underside. Again, more of that textured material there. Next up is the Emperor's Vanity Shield. So we have this grey hull material. And we've also got this purple shading there as well. You can make out the blue dot illumination faintly. This covers the full hull material, and it's almost like the starfield at the back of it there. Then we have the orange, which is the deflector colouring. And the shield, we have the cyan lighting there on those weapons ports. Bit more purple shading here at the front edge. And we have this yellow and a touch of white Bizarre Collector effect there. The cyan there for the impulse engines, and more of that orange illumination there on the inside. And we have this slightly lighter yellow nacelle colouring there as well. Then we have a look at the underside. And I'll pause there just now so you can see in these darker areas, you can see that blue dot illumination nice and clear. I'll even zoom in a bit more. Now, remember, I can do so. So that almost looks just like a starfield and not actual ship. So I'm wondering if that's maybe part of a kind of stealth approach to the shield. Now that I've thought about it. And on the side, some more of the orange there, and the purple shading in conjunction with the grey hull material. Here we have the Ferengi Vanity Shield. So I've got the orange hull material that we see on the Ferengi vessels in the TV shows. And with some gold shading there as well. And we can see this rivet detail there on the hull material, on the pattern within the orange there. Then we have the yellow deflector colour there. Some touches of grey here at the front as well, and same along there. And the yellow illumination here at the rear. Slightly deeper yellow there for the impulse engines, and that's the Bizarre Collector colouring for this shield, and then we've got the lighter yellow there as the nacelle colouring. Then on the underside, just the orange patterned hull material with the rivet effects in it, and more of the gold shading as well. Next up, we're looking at the Hur'q Vanity Shield. So we'll have this green hull material, we have this illuminated green pattern effect as well, along with this brown shading. Zoomed in a bit closer, you can see this black shading giving this textured effect here on quite a few pieces of the hull. Then we've got the green deflector colouring, with that illuminated green material there on the edges. We have the green, that could be the facade collector colouring, could be the deflector colouring, could be the nacelle colouring, could be the impulse engine colouring, because they're all green on this shield, funnily enough. Yeah, quite a bit more of that patterned illuminated green material here at the rear. And we've got quite a bit of that illuminated green material on the underside, that brown and green hull material, and then that black shading giving that textured effect to it as well. Next up, we're looking at the Kelvin Divergence Vanity Shield. So, like the Discovery one, this has two different visual appearances depending on your faction alignment. So, for Federation aligned, you get the look of Starfleet vessels in the reboot films. So, we've got this grey patterned hull material. And we've got this dark blue and white pattern effect here, which isn't the deflector colouring on this shield. The deflector pattern for the shield is like that of the Enterprise in the reboot films, so that illuminated blue spoke effect going round the dish. And what a touch of oranges there on the gun ports. Now the white and blue nacelle colouring here, as the facade collector effect on this shield is absolutely awful. So I think we've been spared that this time. Then we have the different shades of orange there on the impulse engines. And we have the blue and white there of the nacelle colouring. Then more of that dark blue and white pattern effect there as well. You can see a bit of the pattern detail there, and the different shades of grey for the hull material. And the same here on the underside. Here we have the Kelvin Divergence Vanity Shield on a Klingon aligned character. So you can see what the various shades of green there for the hull material, with some touches of grey shading and yellow illumination as well. And we have that blue patterned nacelle colouring there. Same along here with the red honeycomb impulse engines there as well. Seeing some more of that yellow illumination there. And then we're the same here on the underside. Here we have the Prodigy Vanity Shield. So, with this grey patterned hull material. Some touches of gold there as well. Then we've got this white and blue, which is the Bizarre Collector effect, I think, on this shield, because the deflector effect's a very bright orange, yellow and white effect. See the blue here as well. Got that red there on the gun ports. And we see that going from the yellow to the blue there as we rotate around, which is quite a nice touch. Now with the blue of the nacelle there. The red there for the impulse engine. Then the blue and white illumination there again on the inside. And we see the pattern effect there. As we'll look down. And it's more of that patterned hull material there for the underside. Another popular shield in the game is the Section 31 Vanity shield. We'll have quite a few different colours here for the hull material, along with this stripe pattern effect as well. You'll notice here we've blacked out here and here and well on the inside. Now that's normally the Bizarre Collector effect in this shield, because it blacks out the Bizarre Collectors on the ships, as long as you don't have an animation effect on the nacelle in the game. Look at this red here on the gun ports. Bit more of that stripe material here along the edges. Now the cyan blue of the nacelle colouring there, same coming down. And then the red honeycomb for the impulse engines. Again, we're blacked out on the inside there. As we look down, you see the various shades to the hull material and that stripe pattern material there. And with the same here on the underside. Next up, we're looking at the Shrike Vanity shield. So we'll have this rusty orange hull material with this burgundy shading and some grey shading there. And we've got this orange and white pattern there. Some orange illumination there, and then that orange and white again here. The orange there on the gun ports. Some more of the grey shading there at the front. And we have this orange illumination here at the rear. Slightly lighter orange there on the nacelle colouring, the way the light's hitting it. The orange and white again there on the underside. And then we can see that burgundy shading on the grey shading in the pattern there. And then we're the same here on the underside. Next up, it's the Tzenkethi Vanity shield, and as I always say, it's a very busy shield. We've got this green, grey, black and illuminated panel hull material. We see the carved pattern within the material there as well. So zoom in, so we've got this pulsating light effect within this illuminated panel area. That's lovely yellowy orange deflector colouring here. And with this orange illumination here as well. Again, quite a lot of areas of the hull are pulsating away. And we have this yellow illumination that as we rotate around, it goes to the white. You can see a bit of a honeycomb pattern there. So that's reminiscent of the Bizarre Collector effect for the shield. Then we have white there for the impulse engines. Again, more of that orange and yellow illumination there on the inside. And white there for the nacelle colouring. And more of the pulsating light effect there. See it's there that carved pattern within the hull material as well. And then again we're same here on the underside with the shades of the hull material and that illuminated material there as well. Again, some of it pulsating quite happily. And the last shield that's currently available from the Dilithium store is the Zhat Vash Vanity shield. So we've got this olive green and sandy brown hull material. And this red pattern here, the deflector effect in this shield is a very bright green. So they've substituted the red here. That red in those gun ports there as well. Touch of grey there, so on the front. And this green and white pattern Bizarre Collector effect here at the rear. The red there for the impulse engines. Again, that red illumination there as well that we've seen at the front. And got the bright green and white there of the nacelles. And you can see that pattern effect with the two-tone hull material. And that does put me in mind of an army camouflage, just with the colours. And then with the same here on the underside. And that concludes our look at the Deimos class. So, as you've seen, as I was going through, I'm trying to work out what should be where on the ship with regards to the effect of the Vanity shields. I can appreciate the art team does have a tough job on some of the ships that aren't your bog standard Federation starships that have nice big deflector arrays, the nice big nacelles, the Bizarre Collectors and the impulse engines all in the usual places. So, that for the ship itself, the look of it, I thoroughly like. Again, I said at the beginning there, I do thoroughly enjoy flying the ship in the game as well. So, I just would have preferred more uniform approach for the Vanity shields with a more logical colouring, I think. If I'm honest. But anyway, the video's done. We've all had a look at it. So, thank you all for watching. It's always nice to see the views going up on the videos. It does make me feel like I'm helping people see what they want to see. So, link-wise in the description. So, we've got my X and Blue Sky in there. I've also got my Real Merch affiliate code, which will get you 5% off your first order. We've got links there to the STO Wiki. We've got links to the main Star Trek Online news blog as well. For other content, we've got Casual Sab, Nick NB and MC Stu. I've got their YouTube and Twitch channels listed there. These guys are a great bunch of guys. Extremely helpful. Their content is thoroughly entertaining. You know, they do news videos, reviews, Q&As, live streams, builds. So if you haven't already checked them out, check them out. Hit them up with a sub and a like, as it helps everybody out. And all that's left to say as always, thanks again for watching. I'll catch you on the next live stream or the next video.